Hey guys, Modelling Weekly here. Let's get this video started. So, 10,000 subscribers, that's pretty damn insane, and I just want to take this moment to thank every single one of you who has chosen to subscribe to my channel, whether that be those of you who are here in the early days to those that have only recently discovered my content, and I'm genuinely eternally grateful for all of your support. To celebrate this milestone, besides the obvious face reveal, I'll be reading out some of the questions that you guys asked me on YouTube and Discord, and I'll be answering them in this format, face on camera. So I really hope you enjoy this, guys, and let's get started. So I've got all the questions here ready to go on my phone, so let's get straight into it. So the first question here is from Aaron Hutt on YouTube, and he says, have you ever considered doing shout-outs for smaller businesses or model shops, as some have been hit hard by the pandemic? Now, I'm actually really glad that you've pointed this out, because it's definitely true that a lot of small model businesses have suffered throughout the pandemic, and I think it would be really nice to use my platform on YouTube to give them a little boost. Whilst it is difficult to do shout-outs for smaller model shops because they are generally in very particular locations that don't have the best websites, so they only appeal to a pretty small audience, I definitely agree it's a very good thing to do shout-outs for small model businesses, especially those with a good online presence. And I have actually considered doing this for a couple, such as IBG Models. I've built a couple of those kits, and despite them being a pretty small company, I believe they're from Poland, they actually make some pretty damn good models, and I'd love to do a partnership with them at some point. And another good example is Gas Patch Models, which was brought up by someone on my Discord server a few days ago. And they genuinely are a startup company. They're pretty damn small. And they make some really amazing kits. So I think it would be great to do a deal with them sometime and get them some good exposure. So thanks for the question, Aaron. Let's move on to the next one. So this next one is on YouTube, and it comes from Paul Hargreaves, and he says, how do you keep motivated to finish a build, especially when you hit a problem? And it says, easier to start with another one. Now, I totally agree with you. There are some kits that just get the better of us, and we just have to put them down for a while. And I have to say, a lot of the time, the motivation comes from you guys on YouTube. I know that if I don't finish a kit soon enough, then that means no video, probably for a month, and that's pretty much a no-go. But aside from that, I think a lot of the motivation comes from just wanting to get some good closure on pretty much any build I do. I generally feel pretty guilty when I put one down and let it gather dust and then pick up another one and start building it. So to counter that, I just decide to push through the lack of motivation and just finish a kit, to be honest. That was another brilliant question, so let's move on to the third. This is again on YouTube, and it's from Jackson Kennedy, and he says, favorite tank / plane / vehicle. Now, I'm going to say favorite tank separately to favorite plane because I think it would be a bit weird to group them all together. As for aircraft, at the moment, I'm probably going to have to say the F-35, specifically the F-35B variant, which I know is going to be a bit of a controversial opinion for some of you. But I just think overall it looks like a really good looking plane, and I'm a big fan of that sharp, stealthy appearance. I really think it's what a fighter jet should look like in the 21st century. And aside from all of that, those STOVL capabilities, even though they're arguably not as effective as they're cut out to be, I think it's pretty cool. The next question is from Lord Dove, again on YouTube, and he asks, where's your go-to place to get modelling supplies? And to this question, I would instantly reply with Scale Model Shop. They just have an amazing range of paints, glues, accessories, obviously model kits, and their prices are really good, they ship really fast, and it's overall a very enjoyable experience. So I'd definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't already, especially if you live in the UK. The next question is from a random fawn, and he asks, I saw you have one video about a Zvezda product, the IS-2 in 172 scale. Do you have other models from the company, and what's your overall impression with them? Now, you're totally correct, that is the only Zvezda kit that I've ever built, and it's also the only one that's ever been in my stash, because unfortunately I don't have any more right now. But overall, I think Zvezda's a pretty good company. Some of their newer toolings especially are definitely up there and competitive with offerings from other companies. And they offer a good level of detail. I mean, some of their older stuff is arguably a bit hit and miss, though I don't think you'd be going too wrong with buying some of their new kits. Now, I hope I don't butcher the name on this next question, but it's from Davinci on YouTube, and he asks, how do you plan out a build / video? Now, this is a great question, and generally, there isn't a plan. I normally just pick a kit, start recording the inbox review sort of section at the start of the video, and from then on I just sort of record the process as it comes, to be honest. I finish the general building and painting footage, pop it into the video editor, get that going. Then it's sort of more about taking photos and recording a voiceover, slap them all together, and that's pretty much it. I generally don't go around a certain plan, I'm kind of random like that, but I think it works out all right in the end most of the time. I hope that answers your question. But the next one is from Joso, and this one is on Discord. I dare you to say your favourite kits are Mr. Craft. So this next one is from Marshmallow, and he's on YouTube, and he says, favourite build you've done? Now for this one, I know it's a bit cheesy, but I'm gonna have to say it's my Mitsubishi Zero, which I believe is my most recent actual kit building video. I just think the effort that I put into the modelling on that is probably the most that I've ever done for any model, and I think it's turned out pretty decently, so I'm gonna have to say that. The next question is from Tiny World's Dioramas and Models on YouTube again, and he asks, which modelers inspire you? Now, this is a really good question because I find that oftentimes YouTubers don't tend to talk about other YouTubers, but I'm going to take this moment to do exactly that. And I'm going to say my top 2 YouTubers that I watch at the moment are going to have to be Night Shift and Plasmo. I know it's a bit cliche, but they are just simply amazing. And then I'm going to have to say for a third, LPJ Models. He's a friend of mine over on Discord, and he just makes some amazing videos. He's definitely underrated at 30k subscribers. I think he deserves a lot more. And I often give him the nickname the Night Shift of the UK, so I definitely go and check him out if you haven't already. He's very inspiring. This next question is from JS, and he asks this on Discord, and he says, how long have you been in the hobby? Now, this is a bit of a difficult one to answer because technically I've been making models since I was 7. I made an Airfix lunar landing module, so that will make me in the hobby for 10 years now. But I'd really only say I've been taking it properly seriously since I started my YouTube channel, which is about 5.5 years now. So if I was to give you a solid answer, I'd say 5.5 years. This next question comes from Sweat TTV over on Discord, and he asks, if you were to make a modelling company, what would it be called and why? Now, I haven't actually thought about this before because I sort of just see myself as a model YouTuber. I've never really considered doing anything company related. I have considered in the past doing certain model related products, but that's about as far as it goes, and I probably would have marketed them under Modelling Weekly, my brand name. If I was to choose a name for a modelling company though, I think I'd probably stick around the theme of Modelling Weekly, maybe a play on Modelling Weekly, as I'd want to keep it within the theme and sort of close to home, so to speak. I know it's a bit boring, but that's my answer. The next question comes from Rorex, and he asks this on Discord, and he asks, how many finished models do you have and how many have you built in total? Now, I've actually not sold any of my models, so all that I own are all that I've ever built. And because of that, I'm going to say around 40 to 45 in total. It's a bit hard to say because I've put quite a few in the loft and I can't remember exactly how many, but I've got about 30 in the display cabinet, so I'd say about 10 or 15 is a good rough estimate. So I hope that answers your question. Next up, we have Little R asking on Discord, Vulcan, Valiant or Victor? You know I'm going to have to say Vulcan for this one. Now on to the penultimate question, and this comes from LPJ Models, and he asks, what's your plan for improving your builds in the next year, and are there any specific techniques you want to try to learn of, or any that you want to master? Now for this, I'm going to actually split it up into different model categories, because there's sort of different techniques that match different types of models, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to start with figures, and I'm going to say glazing. Now, it's a bit of a weird one, but it's actually something that I've seen Night Shift do a lot recently, and it's something that I tried on my Chernobyl figures, but I don't think it worked out as well as it probably could have, so I'd love to get better at that. Then on to armour. I'm going to say chipping for armour, because it's a very basic thing in a lot of cases, but then again it isn't. I think it really makes or breaks an armour model, and I feel that I still have a lot of room for improvement in that respect. For aircraft, I'm going to say mottled pre-shading, and it's something that I used a lot in my Zero build that I did recently, but I think that I'm definitely not a pro at it at this point, and I'd love to master it. So there you go, I hope that answers your question. Now on to the last question, and this one is from Modelling Deeply Uniquely, and he asks this on Discord, and he says, how did you get so incredibly sexy? So guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek into some things that you may not have known about me just by watching my YouTube videos, and obviously the obvious face reveal. I hope you've enjoyed that, and definitely expect some more videos in this format in the future. Really enjoyed making this one. So I really hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks very much again for 10k subscribers, it really means a lot. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.